There's always some drama surrounding the royal family of Britain. The wife of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, is not indifferent to it for sure. The couple has publicly made statements against the royal institution and received a ton of hate. This would explain why Meghan felt offended by a comment from Mariah Carey. But what happened that led her to be offended? Let's dive right into it. First up, Meghan Markle started a podcast? Yes, folks, you heard it right. She recently started her podcast going from princess to podcast host. Last week, she released the first episode of the new podcast Archetypes with the famous guest, Serena Williams. And guess what? It already hit the #1 spot on Spotify in 24 hours, overtaking the Joe Rogan Experience. It also topped Spotify's charts for the UK, Canada, Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand. Everyone wants to hear what she has to say. In her first episode titled The Misconceptions of Ambition, Markle and Williams talked about their ambitions, motherhood, careers, and being in the public eye. Williams shed some light on how she's diving into other ideas and ventures along with her brilliant tennis career. During their conversation, Prince Harry popped in to greet Williams for a little while before the Duchess spoke of a recent event that left her scared and shaken. A fire broke out in her son Archie's nursery when he was 4 months old. Although the baby wasn't in the room, it obviously scared her as a parent. Moving on to the guest list she has prepared for the show. A cover story for The Cut revealed that many empowering guests are coming up like Issa Rae, Margaret Cho, Constance Wu, and many more. The piece also talked about the concept of her podcast and the meaning behind its name, and made it clear that it'll be focused more on women and their struggles. We're all for female representation. The article also revealed that Meghan will dig into the offensive labels like a bimbo, crazy, angry black woman, the B word, and dragon lady. She admitted that these words make her uncomfortable, and all the women out there know why. Now let's talk about what happened next and why she was offended. Meghan announced that her next guest would be the one and only Mariah Carey. But after her first episode, the hate started flooding in immediately. Nothing she isn't used to. Showbiz reporters said that the Duchess of Sussex took up the majority of the airtime to share her own statements, saying "I" more than 200 times. The morning show host slammed her for releasing the second episode hours before Diana's anniversary. However, the major complaint was that Mariah wouldn't give her the same courtesy Williams did by letting her speak more. Another was that the first 3 guests are popular, but will Meghan be able to uphold the stream of well-known guests coming in, or will the hype die down? The 41-year-old interviewed Carey for her episode titled The Duality of Diva with Mariah Carey, where they both discussed the word diva and how sometimes it can be taken negatively. Well, that's kind of what happened. While going back and forth on the topic, Meghan said that she can't connect to the word, but feels that Mariah's image does. The All I Want for Christmas singer cut her off to say that Meghan has diva moments too. Meghan later said that this moment stopped her in her tracks, as she started to sweat a little and squirmed in her chair. She assumed the famous singer was taking a dig at her after having read some nonsense. In the episode, she nervously laughs while thinking that her girl crush on Carey might just end. But all was well when the iconic singer elaborated that it was a reference to her dressing style and the way she presents herself. It was a compliment, but for a moment, it felt like a dig. Next, what else did the two ladies talk about? On the podcast, both of them spoke of their experience as mixed-race women and the labels they have to face. Meghan claimed that being light-skinned is different. They aren't treated as a black woman, certainly not as a white woman, but somewhere in between. She continued to say that her race was never an issue until she married her husband, whom we all know as Prince Harry. This is when she understood how black women are treated, because until that point, she'd only been seen as a mixed woman. Carey confirmed that she felt the same way, almost caught between the black and white sides of town. She said she didn't fit in anywhere at all. This gave us flashbacks to her extremely popular and controversial interview with Oprah, where she explained the blatant racism she had to go through after marrying the prince. Everyone now knows that it's a huge reason behind her leaving the UK in 2020. In the interview, she explained the problems the couple faced with their marriage, family politics, and responsibilities. They stepped down from their position and moved to the US at their friend's house at the time. Anywho, that wasn't all Mariah spoke of in the podcast. The hitmaker explained a pivotal moment of her life. It's her 1997 album, Butterfly. After the album, she had officially broken up with her first ex-husband, Tommy Mottola, in 1998, and felt suffocated in the relationship. The 53-year-old was writing, living, and producing with Tommy, who was the head of Sony Music, so she was locked away and had to stick to certain rules. Her confidence in writing grew after her album, and she later went on to marry Nick Cannon for about 9 years before divorcing in 2016. The podcast went great, and Meghan is just getting started. Even though there are a lot of speculations, we're excited to see where the podcast goes next, and maybe we'll get some tea out of it on the royal family. Now, moving on to other news. First up, the royal family is not happy with Meghan Markle. After the interview with Oprah, we're not surprised to hear about the royal family's disapproval of Meghan's current activities. Meghan Markle is slowly speaking up about her experience with the firm, which is how Britain refers to the royal family, and they're not happy with her public statements. In her podcast, Meghan discussed how she had to keep doing events even after her son's nursery caught on fire during the royal couple's South Africa tour. After this, she didn't trust them anymore. She went on to say that the relentless tabloid abuse was a part of the reason why she left. With nothing legal stopping her from sharing her experience, she feels confident, slowly uncovering all the dirty secrets. She did emphasize that there's room for forgiveness between her and the firm, and made it clear that she's doing them a favor by not saying anything. The royal family told sources that Meghan claims to want privacy but publicly reveals details even though they have a never complain, never explain policy, and we know the family is good at making a sharp point. Next up, Prince Harry isn't feeling all that confident about the podcast either. A source close to the Duke and Duchess of Sussex spilled some beans saying that the prince is worried about the effect that his wife's podcast will have on their family. The source claimed that Harry must know that he'll be left red-faced. Apparently, the prince doesn't understand why Meghan would be willing to leave him and the kids open to the public. He'd rather prefer that the kids weren't a part of it. It seems like he feels the same anxiety following the hate and pushback they received upon leaving the UK and stepping down from the family. Wish we could tell him that it's okay to be worried, but there's still a possibility that this won't end well. Let's see what happens. And finally, the royal couple faced brutal criticism. The couple is set to end their UK trip to London on September 8th, but before this, they'll be attending the One Young Summit in Manchester on the 5th, and people are not happy. The residents of this city said that the couple isn't welcome to Manchester, and they arranged a very expensive event. It's almost as if they feel betrayed by them leaving the UK, with one woman questioning why they're coming back if they move to America. She also said that they're not welcomed back. Ouch. But the greater backlash was over the pricing of the summit event. The attendees would be charged around £3,000, and it doesn't even include travel or accommodation. What? In this economy? The residents claim that it's ridiculous, especially with the economic crisis and quick inflation in the UK. Younger people can't afford that much at all, and now with bills said to double and triple, most adults can't either, leaving only a rich to attend the summit. No one wants to bother spending that money to listen to the couple. We understand why. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of her podcast, and do you think it was actually a dig or just a compliment? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.